apologies for my unkempt appearance. I came from work and I couldn't be bothered with my mood being as it is to get into a better piece of clothing and shower. But in any case, sorry, it's my dog. She's a little anxious because my parents aren't home right now and she's not used to it this time. But in any case, I think my issues at this point, as I've said in the past, my issues. I know, to nauseam. And I know it doesn't help me beyond a certain point. But, you know, you have to continue on in whatever way you can. My issues at this point, at this singular point, are the fact that ADDing. I have gathered too much shit. And I no longer have the energy in myself to access anything. Because I've gathered so much shit that it's weighing on me. And there's nobody, of course, I can blame but myself. This is why you do self-maintenance more often than just when you have to. But in any case, I'm still here. And I don't think that at this point doing constant maintenance would really be helpful to me personally. And I mean that me personally, very specifically. Because everyone develops their pattern, for better and worse. My pattern is aggravation. Aggravated with myself, aggravated with others, aggravated with my general lot in life that I know is almost entirely my fault alone. And it has a weird way of working, but it does in some way work. Through chipping at the edges slowly, I've made my own way, and at this point to veer off, I'll just end up, as I've seen, incorporating my own wacky mentality into places where it doesn't belong, and I'll just get lost in thought and time and everything. And at this point, it's better to do what kind of works than what never works. And I just have to wait for my aggravation to overcome me, unfortunately, before I can really do any actual maintenance. And 1 second. That being said, there are things I have to adjust, and I have no doubt on that fact. I have to find ways of incorporating what I can much more effectively. I need to be aggravated by more. I need to be aggravated by my general social composure. And I make excuses like, what did that get me in the past? Well, it's not the past. And in the past, I was still in conflict with other modes of being, trying to do too many different strategies at once, effectively each one canceling themselves out. But now that I've fully settled, I have to really give in to my own full frustration, and each point along the line be aggrieved rather by more than just the bottom line, because the bottom line will only ever be what it can be, and right now it can't be anything but, well, I'll just try not to make people too annoyed with me today. And that was fine when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and now, man, it wasn't even really fine from 23 to 26, but it was at least somewhat excusable to 26. I can't just go for the bare minimum. I'm an adult, and there's no arguing that point anymore. There's no like, well, yeah, you're an adult, but are you really an adult? Now, by all measures except experience and maturity, I am an adult. In a case, I can't, however, I can't just be blanket self-antagonistic. It's the opposite of aggrandizing, whatever it be. Not to say that inherently is negative, but I can't just be that, because that was another strategy that I've used in the past that wasn't really a strategy. Well, I do think I function well on some amount of self-talk, and sometimes at the times when I'm the lowest, being a bit forceful with myself, as I think many need to be at times. I can't just make it a day being like, well, do better, do better, do better, do better. That's doing the same thing pretty much as its opposite. It's just giving myself an out to tell myself, well, I've done enough, because I've interrogated myself today, pretty much. And that alone is never an answer. You need application. But applying oneself, that's a whole other story. I feel like I might have made a video recently, perhaps even the last video. Or it's possible I tried to make the video and never was able to. I can never really tell anymore. But a video talking about the fact that I really don't know what I want. My cat's walking by. One of my cats, anyway. And it's not unique to me. I know. I mean, not to say any of these things on some level is unique to me. But while I don't think is unique to me, but I'm guessing pretty aware from what I've seen is the level to which, at my age, I don't only not know what I want in terms of final career path, what I want out of my relationships that exist, and what I potentially might want going forward in that direction, and my general day-to-day life. I don't even know what I want conceptually. I've gotten to a point where I kind of live second to second. And maybe that wouldn't be bad if I had the ability to be fully stoic and adaptive and, considerate to the highest degree. But I don't. I am extremely, extremely neurotic, and I don't necessarily hold that entirely as a negative. But it's just a fact, and a fact that doesn't seem to be changing. You see, even in this video, I know this is just an ADD behaviors in themselves, but it's all connected, I'm swaying, or I'm playing with bits of stuff on the table, or I'm not moving my shoulders at times. Not fully fixing my hair, but using it almost as a little toy for myself so I can pretend to be fixing it. I just really play with it. And that's just me at this point. And greater than that, I have difficulty. Great difficulty looking at the true full picture. I look at what I pretend to be the full picture, and you could say I'm good at that. Very almost believable. Even in these videos, maybe to a naive person, it could almost appear like I actually am considering the big picture. But it's all cut and twisted into an amalgam of neurotic narcissism. I'm focusing on a point, going through, coming back, going through, coming back. But I'm able to name the terms. Oh, so I am functioning at a deliberate level. It's funny how when you're reaching your own self-consideration, you find that you're unaware, and that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but still nonetheless roughly how my thought pattern goes, roughly how my speaking goes when I'm talking for more than 5 minutes. And I vary, because I'm either not talking or I'm talking way too much. I don't know. I think that I am growing less able to filter out certain noises because I am too busy trying to filter out the necessary ones. And my need for noise increases as the years go by, because my issues grow by year, and thus noises, which are just stimulus, will follow. I'm not prepared to meet my issues without first morphing them into a bastard of itself. I don't know. But in any case, I appreciate having this platform, and others like it too. At least roughly put my foot in the water and, have a medium where I can't hide, There's no way I can just spend hours writing a single paragraph, or spend time trying to feel out what the general populace of the site is going to think. And in some way, though I feel a lot, it's really a benefit, and I appreciate that. Anyway,